What's the quickest you've ever seen a new coworker get fired? 1. A guy refusing to wear safety gear (PPE) on his first day. He flat out said no to the supervisor, who then fired him. He didn't even make it to the first coffee break. If he was that adamant about not wearing safety gear, it wasn't a good sign. 2. Kid came in on his first day thinking he could boss everyone around since he just finished culinary school. Strike 1. Caught him later that day vaping in the prep area of the kitchen. Strike 2. He asked on his second day if he could leave for 30 minutes to make a drug deal. Needless to say, that was strike 3. 3. Within the first 2 hours of training with me, she asks where she can go and have a smoke. I tell her just outside there's a smoking area. She proceeds to walk outside in front of all the supervisors, lights up the biggest blunt and openly smokes it. She got walked out 5 minutes later. 4. Worked at a place where you couldn't be colorblind because you were reading schematics and identifying connectors of varying different colors. There was hundreds of tiny connectors in one array. Somehow, by the grace of God, this guy got hired. Either they forgot to implement the CB test or he successfully guessed his way through it. He trains for a week and is put onto the line to build $20,000 cables for fucking missiles. His very first connector he spent all day on, soldering and connecting and signing the paperwork and the steps, gave it to QC for inspection. It was one of the most fucked up examples of a connector anyone had seen. Next day, guy admits he's colorblind and whether he can keep the job. He's let go because he cost the company $20,000. The connector was put on display in HR to drive home the importance of sticking to hiring procedures. 5. Hired my friend's sister as a hostess at our restaurant. She called off for her first shift 3 hours later, telling me that she was having a tough period. 30 minutes into her dinner shift, she started posting pics on Instagram of her being at a party in Canada. We live in New York. Fired her via Instagram. Never even worked, then tried to claim unemployment. Then had her father call me and try to threaten me into rehiring here. She was 34. 6. When I worked in data entry, there was a tricycle on our office floor, just added as a relaxed bit of fun by the managers, who were all very chill people. One of the girls that got hired around the same time as me would, instead of working, just ride the tricycle around the office all day, every day when we all showed up in the morning. She wouldn't even log into her computer. She would just get right on the tricycle and ride around talking to people until she left to take her lunch break. The day she got fired, she had to be escorted out of the building because she was screaming about "You're targeting me unfairly, LOL." Orientation second day. He's to sit in a conference room and read through binders of important info. Our boss walks out and closes the door. It has a window with blinds open to see through. Going about our day, and the boss asks us why the conference door's locked and blinds closed. Nobody is sure, so they get security to open the door to see this fucking guy kicked back with the lights off asleep. He had closed the blinds and locked the door. Of course he was out there that day. 8. As a teenager, I worked at a bowling alley. Within an hour, a coworker was fired for dropping a ball on the foot of a complaining patron. 9. Law enforcement agency. Dispatcher trainee hired as a favor to their parent who was friends with the head of the agency. Guy, who was already annoying, bragged and showed off that he was sexting an underage female, even showing it to sworn officers. Went quickly from employee to client. 10. I once saw a new coworker get fired on their first day during lunch. They loudly bragged about how they lied on their resume to get the job. Unfortunately, they didn't realize the boss was sitting right behind them. By the time we got back to the office, their desk was already cleared out. They were gone before we even finished our afternoon coffee. It is just insane how stupid some people are.